With us now from his home state of South Dakota is Republican Senator Mike Rounds. Senator, many people had many feelings about the emotional scene in the Oval Office last week, but what we're seeing in London today suggests that maybe this may turn out okay. If Europe and Canada step up to strengthen Ukraine's position, maybe Zelenskyy and Trump both get what they want, or am I being too optimistic here?
No, I think long-term, we still want to get that minerals deal put together. I think that's what the president wants, and along with that comes some automatic security guarantees. If we've got Americans working with Ukrainians to develop those mineral resources, it naturally means that Mr. Putin has got to be on guard with the fact that he should not be any place putting Americans in harm's way. So I think this is the first step. We've got to get it back on track once again, but that's the goal, get that done. And then once again, when we talk about dealing with Mr. Putin, we all know that the only way that you can have a lasting peace is if you can have a peace which is verifiable. You've got to be able to have it enforceable. That's one thing I think we all agree on. But this is the first step. So I'm very optimistic that we can still get this deal done.
And that's what the real point of contention beyond the emotions in the Oval Office was about, whether or not the United States would provide a security guarantee to Ukraine. Ukraine said, we'll sign away the rights to our minerals for future U.S. development, but we want a guarantee that the United States will enforce any sort of ceasefire. That does put the United States on the line. Is that a reasonable demand for Ukraine to make?
I think the fact that the president is suggesting that we would have a presence there means that we protect American citizens. And that's what I think he was frustrated with Mr. Zelenskyy is he's saying, look, this is the first step. Put together the deal that we're offering you. Put this minerals deal together, because that brings us into your country. And when we do that, that automatically ties us together. And from there, we can start talking about a lasting peace. But once again, we all know the only type of a lasting peace with Mr. Putin is one which is enforceable. And I think that got lost to Mr. Zelenskyy in the discussions. And I hope we get it all back on track again. The president's right. This is the right step to make.
Okay, it's hard to tell. The emotions running high, as you point out. It's hard to tell how much of this is posturing, how much of this is a real realignment. I'm skeptical, but when I saw the United States joined Russia and North Korea at the United Nations on Monday, opposing what seemed like, from the surface level, a feel-good resolution calling for the end of the war on the 3-year anniversary of Russia's invasion. It definitely got my attention. So from where you sit on the armed services and intelligence committees, how seriously should we take this talk of realignment?
I think there's two parts to this. Number one, what are the facts? And the facts are Russia invaded Ukraine. Russia is the aggressor. Russia created this problem in the first place. The second piece, though, is what is the value of a resolution? And do you put together an irritational resolution which puts our country, which wants to be a mediator in this particular case, in the position of once again taking the side of Ukraine publicly during a time in which our president wants to be a mediator? The president wants to find a path forward to peace. We get that. It doesn't change the facts that Putin and Russia are the aggressors in this particular case, but let's not go out of our way to try to make it more difficult to find that peace. And I think that's the challenge that the United States found itself in this particular position. But Russia is the aggressor. Clearly, they're the adversary in this particular case. But somebody has to stand in the middle and try to find a middle ground to get to a ceasefire to stop the killing. I think that's where the president wants to be in this case.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.